But I'd like to talk for a moment about my philosophy of music in a church. One of the things that I am very sensitive to is that we need to be flexible in our music program. We need to be able to think on our feet, and we need to be able to appeal to as many people as we can. We're not there to entertain them. We're there really to worship the Lord. And if we're doing something in our music that is strictly entertaining, well, maybe we've only entertained them. If we haven't led them in worship and turned their hearts to the Lord instead of turning their hearts toward our performance, we haven't done our job. Or if we've come in to try and change their musical tastes and we've ended up upsetting them, we have not allowed them to worship because we've only angered them. So if we put something up there, no matter how fine the music is, if they can't relate to it and they can't worship the Lord, again, we haven't done our job. There was an age-old problem that churches face and church music faces, and that is if the music outshines the message, then the music is wrong. For that reason, some of the early church music was the simplest in form, Gregorian chant, nothing very fancy about that. And some of our early hymnals actually took out syncopation. They took out some of the any embellished chords. They took out the sevenths and the ninths of the chord progressions because they didn't want the music to outshine the words. After all, we were there trying to sing these words unto the Lord. That was really what we were doing. And anything that took away from that was not worshipful. Well, today we don't seem to worry about that too much. As a matter of fact, most of our contemporary services that are led are really more performances than they are leading the congregation. That makes it harder for people with traditional backgrounds to relate to because it's difficult to sing along with the songs. You don't know them. You don't know where it's going. They're different. It's not a tune that you've known since you were 6. Of course, young people don't seem to have that problem. It's our generation that seems to have that problem. And the church is definitely moving in that direction. People that are coming to Christ today aren't coming from a traditional church background. They haven't been subjected to the hymns. In fact, if they heard Christian music, it was at a rock Christian concert or they heard it on the radio. And to them, that's sacred music. That is the church music today. And if we subjected them to some beautiful piece of classical Christian music, let's face it, everything that Bach wrote was written to the glory of God on the top of the music. There isn't a piece of music that Bach wrote that was not written to the glory of God. So all of his music essentially is sacred music. It was his present to the Lord. And yet if we play Bach in some of our churches today, it's rejected because they don't relate to it. They'd rather have a contemporary Christian song that has 2 chords in it, is 4 minutes of something that has a substance of about 4.5 seconds. But it means something to them. Therefore, it has value. If we're coming into a church, we have to be sensitive to where the people are in the church. And then we also have a responsibility as musicians to elevate their appreciation so that they can hear different types of music and still worship the Lord. But it's going to take time. And the church needs to be united in which direction it wants to go. If you have a traditional service, for example, and you're trying to make it more contemporary, you need to do it slowly and not lose the people that are steeped in the traditional church music. If you're introducing hymns to the contemporary Christian service, I think that's a valuable thing, but you have to be careful in how you do it. Oh, we have the traditional hymns that are all jazzed up and arranged in a contemporary style. But maybe that loses something too. Maybe people need to learn how to appreciate a great hymn of the faith with an organ and piano, maybe an orchestra behind it. Maybe raising their elevation so that they can hear something that is strange to them or different or something that is unusual to them and still have a heart that is open to worship is a valuable thing.